fall. But did you know when you buy a whole squash, it's way more affordable than getting the pre-cut stuff? Also, it tastes better because it's fresher. When buying a butternut squash, make sure it's heavy for its size and it's nice and firm. You want to make sure you avoid blemishes, bruises, and dullness. When you bring your butternut squash home, make sure you place it in a cool, dry place and it will last for a couple of weeks. Do not be intimidated by how to prep this veg. I'm going to show you. First, you're going to trim the tip. There's so many tips and tricks when peeling a butternut squash. Microwaving, boiling. But the truth be told, you just need a good peeler and a sharp knife. I like using a large wide peeler because there's more surface area and you're going to strip the skin off really fast. So there are a few layers to the skin of a butternut squash. First, the outer coating, and then there's a thin white part. Once you see orange, you're good to go. Some people like to separate the bulb and the neck before peeling. It's whatever you're comfortable. I prefer keeping it whole because I have a good grip on the butternut squash. So now we're going to flip it around and peel the bulb. I also like to trim the other side of the bulb because you're not going to be able to really get into those grooves. We are done. We peeled the whole butternut squash, bright and orange, and now we're going to separate it from neck to bulb. Where there's a curve, cut it right there, and then there's going to be seeds on the bottom, and this part is just all butternut. For the bulb, I'm going to cut it in half and scoop out the seeds. To remove the seeds, all you need is a spoon and just scoop it out, kind of like what you do for a pumpkin during Halloween. Butternut squash seeds are 100% edible. You can roast them up like you would do for pumpkin seeds. So I'm going to slice up these bulb halves into half moons. When cutting butternut squash, just make sure all the slices are about the same thickness. This will make sure that they cook at the same time. When you get to the end of the bulb and it's getting a little wobbly, feel free to put it on its side and continue to cut. See, perfect little half moons. So now for the neck. How do we get those iconic freezer bag cubes? So first, you always want to make sure you have a flat surface. So feel free to trim off one of the sides. And then, now you have a nice flat surface, it's not wobbling around. Then, you're going to cut them into planks. So you always want to make sure you trim them so you have nice even planks. The smaller cubes are going to roast just fine. Perfect little cubes! And now for the ends. Because the ends are on the skinnier side, you can cut them a little bigger so they'll have the same cooking time. Now that you know how to prep a butternut squash from scratch, you can boil it and make a puree, you can roast it, add a little bit of salt and pepper, and of course, you can take a class with me on the Food Network Kitchenette.